Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome to Saratoga opening day and welcome to Thoroughbred Ticket. I have a late pick five for you as well as a grand slam. The late pick five is going to require an investment of $18 and the grand slam an investment of $16. So let's get to it. Welcome to opening day and welcome to Thoroughbred Ticket.
Welcome to Thoroughbred Ticket. We're playing the exotics like trifectas, superfectas. The pick 3, 4, 5, and 6 will become that much easier. Rushing to handicap multiple races? Well, your host will save you a bundle of time. And now here he is, the self-proclaimed expert handicapper, Mr. Kenneth Moultrie.
Hello and welcome to Thoroughbred Ticket. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your host, Kenneth Moultrie, here on opening day at Saratoga. And this is exactly why I like to wait until all scratches and changes are announced and posted before I handicap. Now, I did a show yesterday for opening day for the Schuylerville, the traditional opening day feature. For 2-year-old fillies that will be run on race 9 today. And two of the major players, in fact, two of the runners who I like best are now scratched. We'll get to that in a second. But like I say, that changes the whole dynamic of the race and my selections, of course. So let's get to it. I'll give this to you. It's not going to require a whole lot of investment, as I said earlier, but like I said, there are some changes, and we'll get to that when we do. So the Grand Slam is going to coincide with the late pick 5. The Grand Slam is going to go for races 6, 7, 8, and 9, and the late pick 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So let's start with the 6th race. It's a mile and a 16th on the inner, claiming 35,000, purse 50,000, and we do have a racing form or program scratch of Courageous Girl, enter for main track only. She is scratched. So that's going to leave 10 runners. And I'm going to use 3 runners here. I'm going to use the 2 Alba Star, the 7 Corey Scores, and the 11 Jazzy Lady. So a quick synopsis about each real fast. The inner at Saratoga, more so than Belmont, is so speed favoring, in my opinion. And Alba Star has all that going for her. This elusive quality filly is trained by Michael Stidham, and Louis Saez will ride. Basically the last 4 of her 5 races, she basically set the pace and showed the speed that you need to have on this particular turf course. She, in my opinion, will be in front turning for home. She will be tough to beat. Now, she did win 2 back at Sam Houston at a mile and a 16th for one other than allowance. And she set the pace at Belmont for this similar tag, going a mile and a 16th. And she just missed, basically. She missed she backed up to finish 3rd, but missed only 2 lengths as the 7-5 favorite. So she's a beaten favorite coming back with all the speed, and I look for her to be right there at the end. The 7 Corey Scores, trained by Linda Rice, written by Jose Lescano. Now, we're going to see how Linda does this meet. I mentioned her in my preview show of Saratoga that I did maybe a week or 10 days ago. We know she's pending that suspension. We know this is her favorite meet. She actually won this title maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago. So, and when she did that, she did it with turf sprinters. Now, this is a turf route, but she is really, really good. This is her game, and we'll look to see how she does this meet. But this particular runner here has some inner turf experience. She does have 2 seconds at Saratoga's turf course, on Saratoga's turf course, and a 3rd. Now, here's one thing that I wish they would change in the racing form when it comes to Belmont and Saratoga, 2 tracks that have 2 turf courses. They mix all the turf stats together. So in other words, if you are 1 for 1 on the inner and the race is on, let's say, the melon at Saratoga, then they count that as you're 1 for 1. But I think they need to somehow come up with a way to where they specify, your record on the turf, whether it's the inner or the outer. So they can do it when they in the past performances by the square and the circle. So I think they can do it that way too. But anyway, it's hard to tell what Corey Score's record was on the inner. But I can tell you, looking at some of her inner races at Belmont, she did win at 6 furlongs, 3 back for a 40 tag. So, she has this mare has experience running on the inner. She performs well. She's coming out of sprint, so she should be a little closer today to the pace. Like I say, Jose and Linda are a formidable team, so this is going to be one of my choices as well, the 7 Corey Scores. As well as the 11 on the far outside, Jazzy Lady. Now, Jazzy Lady is just claimed by Ray Handel for $30,000, coming off a win at Churchill. And she's utilized the jail form, meaning that she stayed. She did not race for 30 calendar days before the claim. She did not have to step up in class. She could have basically ran for the same tag, but this is basically the same tag, so she didn't really have to rise to a 50 level or to a $60,000 or $75,000 level. So, staying in jail for those 30 days, this is going to help, especially kind of deal with the outside post. She's toting 125 pounds on the outside, gets Joel Rosario today. So I look for this filly to be somewhat mid-pack, maybe toward the end. And it's like I say, it's tough to close on the turf course at Saratoga on the inner. So I'm just hoping Joel will have her a little closer. And like I say, Ray Handel has some below average turf stats. But nonetheless, coming off the claim, I think that the style and the pace that Jazzy Lady might receive from Alba Star is going to push her forward when the race comes to an end. So as far as the Grand Slam is concerned, I'm just going to use Alba Star and Corey Scores. So you're only using 2. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to use 2, 2, 2, and 2 in the Grand Slam. But in the pick 5, I'm going to use Alba Star, Corey Scores, and Jazzy Lady. Let's go on to race 7, 1 mile and an eighth on the main track. High level allowance, 103,000. We have a scratch of the number 7, Mr. Tip. We do have an entry in the race. So that is going to leave 12 runners, a full field of 12 after the scratch. And like I said, 1 mile and an eighth on the main. I'm only using 2 horses here for the Grand Slam and the pick 5. The 3 business model is trained by Brendan Walsh and written by Tyler Gaffleone. And coming off a win at Churchill, breaking his maiden. This is a 3-year-old Ridgeling. And Adam Beschizza rode him that particular day. Tyler gets him today. Has a Saratoga main track breeze of 3 furlongs in 37-3, just to get his feet wet on the surface. Comes from mid-pack, has a good post position. 89 Buyer last time out is actually second best or third best in the race, but has the best post position. Will be breaking from post position number 2 outside of the 2 Southern districts. So big things to be expected from the 3 business model. The only other horse I'm using in this race for the Grand Slam and the pick 5 is the number 9 Clay in the Lion Heart. Now, Clay in the Lion Heart is 2 for 3 at Saratoga on the main track. On July the 10th, this gelding worked a 5 furlongs in 1 minute and 4. Excellent work on the track that the race will be run on today. Eric Cancel will ride for Phil Bauer. Kind of plotted the last 2 or 3 races, ran mid-pack, finished 3rd and 2nd, did miss by a nose at Churchill at 1 mile and 3/16, 2 back. But like I say, has Saratoga experience. I would watch if I was at the track today, or if I can see on my monitor that if this gelding comes out without front wraps today, this is really going to tell me something, because he's been running with front wraps basically in the last 10 or 11 starts, as the past performances show. But that's not going to change my mind. I will just kind of enhance it more to see him come out without front wraps. But anyway, the only two I'm using here is the 3 Business Model and the 9 Clay in the Lion Heart. Now we go on to the quick call. Now the quick call is 5.5 furlongs on the turf, and there's really nothing to handicap here. We have probably one of the best 3-year-old colts on the turf in training in Golden Pal, who's trained by Wesley Ward and written by Irad Ortiz Jr. Nothing really much to say about him. You know, you've probably seen him run. He's 1-2 on the morning line. There are scratches in the race. The 5 Fire Sword, the 6 Fauci. Yeah, the 6 Fauci is scratched. That Fauci. The 7 Mr. Sippy is scratched as well. So you have a total of 6 horses running. Golden Pal is going to be 1-9, I guarantee you, when the gates open in this particular race. Now, as far as the excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, as far as the pick 5 is concerned, yes, it's going to be a single. As far as the Grand Slam, I'm going to use another horse, because you might as well go ahead and try to get another horse on the board to try to double your pleasure in the Grand Slam. But I normally don't single, no matter how much of a standout a runner looks. But this one is just, the pick 5 ticket is only $18. It really wouldn't hurt to put another horse in there just to kind of as a backup, and then actually to hope if that runner can beat Golden Pal, it can enhance your ticket. But like I said, I think I could have spread elsewhere and then kind of just stuck with the single to Golden Pal. But, I didn't really see a whole lot. There was a lot of scratches that, that kind of, like I say, dissipated a lot of races. So I'm going to stick with the single on Golden Pal in the pick 5 and use the 1 Kentucky Pharaoh with Golden Pal in the Grand Slam. So speaking of Kentucky Pharaoh, breaking from the rail, coming out of a mile and an eighth, where he lost his rider the last time, was Kendrick Carmouche. And I'm wondering that's when Kendrick got hurt. I'm not sure. But nevertheless, Jack Sisterson trains this Ridgeling 3-year-old. And, looks like 5.5 furlongs may not be the right distance, but I'm just looking for something to come second or third. And I know the horse is going to take more money. Is going to be the outside horse, Jackson Traveler. Jackson Traveler is just getting on the turf for the first time, but looks to be the main threat on paper to Golden Pal, if that's a such thing as a threat. But I think second choice will go to Jackson Traveler. But I think Kentucky Pharaoh will pick up the pieces and somehow get into the trifecta, and that is why I'm using Kentucky Pharaoh with Golden Pal in the Grand Slam, but in the pick 5, it's just going to be the single to Golden Pal. The 9th race, the Grade 3 Schuylerville, dissipated by scratches. The 2 horses I like best, the 3 Pipeline Girl and the 7 Happy Soul, are out. That's going to leave a field of 7, and everything has changed. Now, I am going to put on top the number 2 Mainstay. I mentioned last night that horses coming from Monmouth, when they come to this circuit, if they perform at Monmouth out of these 2-year-old races, they come over to Saratoga, and they are very, very competitive. Frankie Pennington will ride for Robert Reed. I mentioned Frankie Pennington had won a race in the stakes department a year or so ago, so he's very confident. He's riding 22% this particular season. Won in the slop at Monmouth. Gets a better post position than the 1 Pretty Birdie. And I mentioned last night when I did my show on this Adirondack, I said that if Pretty Birdie and Mainstay had flip-flop positions, I would like